actually supposed to accept an ending where they all get engulfed by Benifer flesh? Hi! Hello! It's me again! So, I love The Umbrella Academy. I have all of the graphic novels. I have like this season 1 behind the scenes type book. I mean, I have posters. I was number 5 for Halloween one year. I wrote fan fiction. Oh my gosh. I need to insert the screenshot of this fan fiction. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what happened to it. I deleted it off of Wattpad, and I cannot find it in my Google Docs anywhere. So don't know what happened to it. But when you search the Umbrella Academy up on Wattpad, it was one of the first things that popped up. Season 4. I hated season 4. So, I'm going to talk about it. I watched The Umbrella Academy the day it came out, and then the next day, I filmed a video essay. Then I watched it again. I watched the 4th season for the second time, and then I was like, no, actually, I have too many other thoughts and things, so I need to redo this. So, here's me redoing it. So yeah, I love The Umbrella Academy. A little bit ago, when season 4 came out, I woke up at 3 in the morning to binge the whole thing, because that, in my time zone, is when Netflix releases their series and films and stuff. If it had to have sort of like a theme or an overall statement, it's that The Umbrella Academy was about family. And they ruined that. The last season ruined it. So when I watched the 4th season, I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. I hate this. And then I was like, I have no one to talk to about this. That's the issue with watching something as soon as it comes out, is that now I have no one to talk to about it. Because none of my family or friends have seen it, and I can't spoil it for them. So now who am I going to talk to about the fact that everything. So I go to Tumblr, and I'm like, let me see. And sure enough, Tumblr saved my sanity, because I found a bunch of other people who were like, wow, this is horrible. And so that was fantastic. So I'm going to reference like Tumblr posts throughout this a bunch, and I'll put them up here so you can see. One of the Tumblr posts that I saw that I really related to was, my favorite part of season 4 of The Umbrella Academy was logging onto Twitter and seeing that everyone else also and hated it. Me too. So first, what I'm going to talk about is the things that I liked, because it's not like I can always find good things in a film. Even if it's a horrible film that I hate, there are still good things about it, because there's so many people involved. There has to be some things that are done right, you know? So some of the things that I liked, and this is more plot-wise. Stupid computer is broke, I swear. The concept of the subway station. I love that. That's so fun. And from like the promotion material and everything, I thought that they were going to explore that more the characters would be in there. I guess not. I love the concept of the subway station. I kind of wish that they, the other characters, I thought that was going to be a big thing, and that all the characters were like going to be in the subway station or something, but no. Okay, that's fine. But I liked the concept of the subway station. Another thing I loved, Gene and Jean. Who doesn't love Gene and Jean? They were so funny. And we love a good cult, you know? Oh, and I have to point out this Tumblr post. Another thing I liked was the deli scene, like the 5 diner deli thing in the subway. I thought that was pretty fun. Pretty funny. 5 doesn't have a good history of trusting himself, so I don't know why he was so trustworthy of his other versions of himself. And also, why were they all the same age? Is there no alternate timeline where 5 got old and stayed old, I don't know. Whatever. I know this is such a small detail, but the goldfish air refreshener in the car that Ben drives, I thought that was so cute, because it looks like AJ from the 2nd season, and I don't know. So when I was 5 for Halloween one year, I made my brother be AJ, and we literally filled this thing with water, and he had a little robotic fish in there, and it was dripping on him all night long. He was soaked by the end of it, but it was fun. Good times, you know? I mean, maybe not for him, but for me, certainly. Claire. I loved Claire. I thought she was super funny. I'm so glad that we got to see her again, that we got to, you know, just get to know her more, and now that she's older as well. I loved her relationship with Klaus. That was so sweet. And now I'm going to talk about the characters. So I'm going to talk about Luther. We're just going to go down the list. He mentioned Sloane twice. That just, I don't know. I know it's been 5 years, but still. It's just a little weird. It must have been so jarring for him to have the love of his life, who he, you know, met really quickly, fell in love with really quickly, was all in, married her, died, came back to life, and now she doesn't exist. So I thought we were going to see more of him searching for her, but so it's kind of weird that he was super into her last season and then nothing. I don't know. Also, I feel like he should have been more excited when he realized that he got sent to the moon for a reason. Because I don't know if I'm just not remembering things right, but I swear he still had no idea why he was sent to the moon. I think we as an audience realized in the previous season that he was there to, protect and oversee Abigail, but I don't think he knew that. And so when she said, thanks for, watching over me on the moon, he was like, oh yeah. Nothing? Nothing else? You're not freaking out about that? You had a whole mental breakdown and, imprisoned your brother. And now you don't, I don't know. That was just weird in my opinion that he had no reaction to that, and we didn't talk about that at all. So, Diego, I wanted to see more of his parenting because he was so cute with Stanley last season. So I wanted to see him with his daughters. I don't even know his daughters' names. There's Grace and twins. That's all I know. And you just didn't really see him interact with them very much. And he acted like he hated them. He acted like they were little parasites sucking all the life out of him. That just doesn't seem very Diego to me. I don't know. I know parenthood changes people and stuff, and things are stressful and everything, but that just didn't seem right. And why did he have to be so sad? The whole season he was so sad. Everyone was so sad. It was so depressing. Such a depressing season. It was not that funny. It was just depressing. I wanted to see him be happy, you know? Just a little bit. Okay, and I want to talk about Allison. Oh, so you're nice again. Okay. And Ray left her? She didn't seem like she cared that much. Also, we didn't get no backstory. Why did Ray leave her? I don't know. Why? And then there's so many other questions about Ray being in this, timeline thing. Because, he was supposed to be, he was an adult in the 60s. And now he's in, present day. And I'm like, does he have the memories from the 60s? Are they new memories? Is he really the same person? Is Claire actually their biological child or not? I need to know. I need to know how that worked. I need to know how that happened. I know it's not necessary, but me personally, I have so many questions about Ray. And then, she fought so hard to get him back. And then just didn't really seem to care that he was gone. And why did he leave her? I don't understand anything. Here is a good Tumblr post. Allison losing herself and destroying everything to try and get Ray and Claire back, only for him to leave her off screen, made Allison's character derailment in season 3 and even more pointless and confusing. Yeah. Exactly. Klaus. Okay. I love Klaus. It started off funny, but then it got really depressing really quick. Because he was sober, but he had so much anxiety. And this is coming from a person that is a germaphobe and also has a lot of anxiety. So at first I was like, oh, haha, that's funny. And then I was like, no, wait, hold on, this is really serious. He may be sober, but, he kind of was, tormented by fear. That's not a fun way to live. Yeah, and it just, the whole season felt like they didn't know what to do with him. And so they just kind of recycled old stuff, They just gave him more trauma because that's the only thing that they know how to do with him. They're like, oh, well, he'll just get kidnapped again. All this stuff will happen. And it really had nothing to do with the plot. None of that had anything to do with the plot. And I also feel like they didn't linger enough on how terrifying it must be as an immortal to be buried alive. Obviously, being buried alive would be terrifying anyways, but as an immortal to be buried alive, knowing that, you were being buried alive, and so now you were stuck in this box for eternity until someone finds you and lets you out. Do you know how, what? That's horrifying. Horrifying. And they didn't really address that, and I don't know, man, I would be panic attack. But they just, I don't know, they made him kind of be goofy silly trying to get his drugs from his shoe. And why did he act like having his powers back would make him relapse? Because in season 2, he was sober. With his cult, he was sober. He eventually did relapse, but he was sober, and he had his powers then. In season 3, he seemed to be getting a lot more comfortable with his powers, and he seemed to, be better at understanding himself and everything. So I don't understand why he was so afraid to get his powers back, because his last experience with his powers, he literally saved the day. He, took control of his powers, and he wasn't scared anymore. So I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know that much about, addiction and stuff. So, yeah, maybe I'm just not as informed as I need to be on that. But it just seemed a little odd to me that there was, proof of him, having his powers and being sober. And then, yeah. And then the fact that as soon as he got his powers back, then he just went back to, he didn't even try. He didn't even try. I don't know. Just watching Klaus this season made me so sad. It was depressing. It was very depressing. That poor man. Now on to 5. Oh, who? Oh, 5. No, he wasn't in this season. No, I don't think he was in this season. Because that wasn't him, guys. That wasn't him. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't be like that. What? That's not him. That's not him. No. Ugh. Okay. Now for some Tumblr posts. So 5 goes from guy who will literally break time and space to save his family to homewrecker stealing his brother's wife and leaving them all to die. Thank you, the Umbrella Academy. You just provided the ultimate textbook definition of character assassination. Well done. They said it, Here's another one just cause. 5, season 1 through 3, surviving 45 years in the apocalypse, pushing himself to the limit, killing people without a second thought to save his family. 5 in season 4, banging his brother's wife. Oh, sorry. Skrewing. Yeah, so you're telling me that he didn't know his boss was in a cult? This man doesn't trust anyone. And you're telling me he didn't know his boss was in a cult? He didn't trust the organization that he himself made. He didn't know he made it, but... come on, guys. And if everyone got to reset, they got their limbs back, they got, their tattoos were gone, no powers, why was 5 still young? I'm not complaining, because I love Aidan Gallagher. I think he's a fantastic actor, but why was he still young? Because that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Wouldn't he, be the same age physically as everyone else if they reset? He would never abandon his family like that. Never betray them, never abandon them like that. More on that later. Why was he not more traumatized when he was back in the apocalypse? Because we saw how traumatized he was just in season 1, just sitting there in his car, and then had a whole flashback to the apocalypse and was screaming and stuff. Now he's just I was expecting some good PTSD representation, Nothing. Okay. Alright. Now we're going to talk about Ben. I was so sad that Ben was Sparrow Ben and not the Umbrella Academy Ben, because I miss the Umbrella Academy Ben. Sparrow Ben is fun, he's spicy, but he's kind of an asshole, and... yeah. And it was just so sad, because even okay, Sparrow Ben's there, okay. And then the fact that he still didn't consider the rest of them his family, like he still like hated them all and didn't want to be around them and just isolated himself was so sad. So sad. And guys, he should have been with the group at the end. Like they like mutilated him and made him into a monster with no self-control, and he wasn't with the rest of his siblings. I know they weren't his siblings, he was a Sparrow Ben, but still, guys. I miss Ben. I miss Ben. And Victor. How are you not still, like, absolutely pissed at Allison? Because, me personally, I know she was going through some stuff, but that is no excuse for the things that she did and said. I mean, she was just evil, like cruel. My goodness. And then I had other questions like, why couldn't he just take the marigold out of everyone else? No, he tried to take the marigold out of Ben, but why couldn't he just do it for everyone else so that nobody else had to die? You know? Does that make sense? Am I crazy? Oh, someone on Tumblr pointed out that he was the only one to like have some character growth or change throughout the season. I don't remember where I saw that at. I can't find it. So I'm sorry, I can't credit anyone because I don't know who said that. But yeah, I really do think that he was the only one to have some sort of positive character development and growth. I mean, because he was doing well for himself, you know? He really gained confidence and stuff, and you could really see that he was a very different person than he is in the first season, which it's not like the other ones weren't, but I mean, even since the third season, he changed a lot. But like, in a reasonable way. Unlike Diego, who pretended to hate his family or something, and Five, and Lila, who cheated, and it was I'm sorry. Guys, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? Lila. Sorry? Sorry? More on that later. Tumblr post incoming. Badass assassin Lila turns out to hate domestic life with Diego, but is more than happy to be Five's little cottagecore wife. I hate these writers. Yes, because what? Also, they literally just like made her a pawn almost. I hated it. Gross. I miss Lila, guys. Give me the real Lila back. Also, she literally wore the bracelet that Diego made. I mean, remember, second season when they met, Diego made a bracelet. Lila kept it, and she kept it on. It was literally in the beginning of season 4. She was wearing that bracelet when they came out of the elevator. And then they're like, oh, well, you never wear bracelets. No, one, it's like they don't even remember what they wrote. It was literally in that season. There was a scene in that season where she's wearing that bracelet. And they like completely just... And then also, the audacity and just the cruelty of replacing Diego's bracelet with Five's bracelet. Also, the graphic vomiting, now that we're talking about vomiting, the graphic vomiting, we didn't need that. We did not need all the vomiting. The projectile, we did not need that. No, we really didn't. We really did not. Also, why was it like that? Why was it so fake? Okay, and Jennifer. Babe had no personality whatsoever. And, no, because who is she? And what was she doing in a squid? We don't know. What? What? And why was she so terrified of it, too? Abigail. Go what? So you feel guilty about creating something that has the potential to end the world. So, to make yourself feel better, you decide you're just gonna end the world and get it all over with. Make that make sense, bitch. What? Well, I felt bad about creating something that has the ability to end the world, so, to fix it, I'm just going to end the world myself, on purpose. Reginald, and the only note that I have for Reginald is, yes, everything was your fault. I hope you burn in hell. Lila and Diego's family. Who are they? Who are they? No, seriously. Because we see them, but they're just faces. I honestly could not even tell you. Like, I could not point out which ones were actually Lila's parents and which ones were, like, aunts and uncles and stuff. Because I don't know. And also, again, what were the twins' names? The only reason that I remember Grace is because they said it a few times, and it's Grace, you know, Diego's mom. What were the twins' names? I wanted to see more of their children. Because, duh, like, y'all just created all these characters, and then they were just so 2D, so flat, so lifeless. Come on, guys. This is not that difficult. You've obviously created characters who are very deep in the past, because the characters are deep. So, you had the opportunity, and you had the talent and creativity, and y'all just decided, nah, we don't need to work. Okay, so now that I've talked about all the characters and my initial thoughts on them, my next section that I'm talking about is situations. So first we're going to talk about the situation. Lila and 5. Because when I was watching it, I was like, I feel like this feels weird. Surely they're not, no, guys, no, stop, no, oh, now insert the graphic vomiting that they have in the Umbrella Academy in this season right here, because what was that? Y'all did not have to do that. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that, okay? You shouldn't have done that. For so many reasons you should not have done that. That's terrible. It makes no sense. They hate each other. They've always hated each other, and that's their dynamic. They have, like, this sibling rivalry. Like, you know, man, my stupid sister-in-law, she's so annoying. I hate her. Yeah, my stupid brother-in-law, he's such a little twerp, you know, whatever. I'm like, it was fun. It was good. It was fun. We loved seeing them together because they hated being together. It was super funny. Neither of them would have done this, guys. No. For so many reasons. Lila wouldn't have done that to Diego. 5 wouldn't have done that to Diego. And they would have never done that because they absolutely despise each other. And it's good that way. It works that way. This way, excuse me, I don't want to vomit again. Tumblr post. It could honestly be fun to play with the "is she cheating on me" storyline if Lila wasn't actually going to cheat on Diego, because the only reason that is funny is because she would never do it. Yeah. And so, why did you guys do that? Why did you do that? Also, not only do the characters themselves have an age gap, like, physically their age gap is 5 is younger and Lila's older, but mentally, you know, actually 5 is decades older than Lila. So that doesn't make much sense. But also, the actors have a 15-year age gap. And Aidan Gallagher, who plays 5, is freshly an adult. And yeah, so here's another Tumblr post. Actually, I will say something about this. Setting up a romance line, but waiting until one of the actors is freshly legal adult before executing it is creepy, actually. Especially when the co-star is 15 years older. Yeah. She's known him since he was, like, 16. And especially because the actress, Ritu Arya, she literally was like, guys, you're joking, right? This isn't happening, right? Like, you're joking. No, you can't do this. You literally, you can't do this. And they were like, tee, lol, we're just gonna do it anyways. Like, the actress herself was uncomfortable with it. Cause yeah, I'd be uncomfortable too if I had to, like, make out with someone 15 years younger than me. Oh my gosh, no. No, stop. It's just weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. Y'all could have left 5 as the arrow ace queen that he is. I know he had the thing with Dolores, but she wasn't real. Why was it Lila? Why was it anyone? It shouldn't have been. No, stop. If you wanted to give him a romance, it had to be with someone new, guys. Come on. No, stop. You just had to ruin it. You just had to ruin him in the worst way possible. And genuinely, what did any of that add to the story? Because we've already established it's completely out of character for him. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe we want to see him, be happy with someone romantically. Shouldn't have been her. No, never. Never. I'd rather him be just satisfied being alone, because normally that's just how he was, satisfied being alone. He doesn't trust anyone. I don't know. Anyways, I honestly really hated that they were like, oh, a boy and a girl get stuck together for 7 years. Of course they have to, make out with each other and, be romantic and, fall in love. No, guys. No. Because, listen, I'm all for that cute romance, right? But also, I hate that the media keeps reinforcing this idea that men and women can only, have romantic feelings with each other. And that the ultimate form of love is romantic. No, I have such strong, fulfilling platonic relationships. And so when people are like, almost see that as lower than romantic relationships, I'm like, I just hate it. It's so annoying. And the fact that they were like, no, we have to make them fall in love with each other now because they're stuck with you. No, have them bicker, have them hate each other, and then finally come together at a common ground and just be friends. Or just, also, people during, quarantine who were literally married and living together got so tired of each other living together for 1 year that they divorced. And you're telling me that these people who already hated each other were together for 7 years and started liking each other all of a sudden? No. Especially not romantically. Come on, guys. Come on. Ugh. Here's a Tumblr post. Homeworker 5 was not on my Season 4 bingo card, nor should it have been. Because what? What? Oh yeah, and here's another one. 5 and Lila with their frenemy dynamic was one of the best relationships in the show. Making it romantic just because 5 needed a love story is one of the worst excuses for such a horrible writing decision. Yeah, the actor for Diego, David Castaneda, he was literally like, you guys are joking, right? You guys aren't gonna do this. He says, I was angry. I talked to our showrunner, Steve Blackman, a few times, and I was like, hey, does this really have to happen? Yeah, he's like, it wasn't fun. I always tried to convince Steven, who's going to win? Come on, Diego's going to win, right? And he would say, well, we don't know. Maybe 5, maybe Diego, maybe both. And I was like, no. She's got to be with Diego because, duh, they're perfect together. We love them together. They're goofy and they fit together. I'm moving on from this because I just don't want to talk about this anymore because it's so unfortunate. The Jennifer incident. I feel like they got super lazy with this. So when Sai told them, oh yeah, my daughter, Jennifer, doesn't that name ring a bell? Because y'all knew about the Jennifer incident. You guys referenced the Jennifer incident in the previous season. It's not like it's something new. It's not like something they just introduced here. No, we've known about the Jennifer incident. So, I don't know, guys, that's a pretty significant name because it involves the death of your brother. And I'd be like, oh, is it that Jennifer? Are we talking about that Jennifer? But no, they pretended that the name had no significance whatsoever. So that's fun. Really? Are we really going to ignore this? Clearly, Sparrow Ben knew about Jennifer. Had to have met Jennifer. It literally says Jennifer on there. Also, Jennifer looks nothing like this. But could just be because they hadn't picked out an actress yet, so that makes sense. But he knew what she looked like! And then you're telling me that he saw her and was like, I don't know who this is. The consistency is not there, okay, guys? They put so much build up to this, and then they flopped so hard. I mean, we've been dying to know, how does Ben die? Since the first season, and then it's this. Or they can't even keep their facts straight. Come on, guys. You're telling me not one of the siblings ever wondered to themselves, wait a second, hold on, how did Ben actually die? Nobody ever thought that? Klaus was literally hanging out with dead Ben for decades. You don't think that Klaus asked him how he died, or Ben told him how he died, or nothing? Because you can't erase the memory of a ghost. You don't think they had a single conversation about Ben's death? Really? I don't know, man. Where are the rest of the 43 kids? I know that, in this bit here, in this season, they don't have Marigold. But did they all have, I mean, I don't know, why are they not involved? Why is it the Umbrella Academy, those kids with the Marigold, why are they the issues? So are you telling me that the other people get to exist still, or do they still not exist? Do they even exist in this timeline? I don't know. Like, did Sloane even exist in this timeline? I don't know. I just have questions about that. The Delian 5. In the previous season, 5 realized that he was the creator of the commission, and he told himself to let the world end. His old body is dying, and he's got an arm ripped off and a tattoo and everything, and he tells 5 to let the world end. Did he know there was no saving it? Did that 5 know that the only way to save the world was to have them all wiped out of existence? Then just say so, my guy. The 5s in the Deli were all the same age, so are there no versions of him that get to the point that they're old and, like, because I know he's old, but his body looks younger. Is there no version of him that stays in his old body? Where is the 5 that we saw last season? Where is he? Because, he's an old 5. He died probably of old age. I mean, that man looked old. He was old. So where's he in all this? The old guy was supposedly future 5, but he had no arm and a tattoo. 5 got his arm back. So is he then another timeline's version of 5 that did not get his arm back and everything? So then, that is a question though, is that if that's not this timeline 5's future self, and it's a different timeline's future self, is the commission, like, out of time and space? And if not, like, maybe it's not, then that room at least has to be completely out of time and space, like timelines and everything, because they can't be the same timeline 5. Previously, the understanding was that there was one timeline and it could be altered. And now, like, they can hop into these separate altered timelines. So if the commission was out of time and space, how did the 5s not ever see each other? And then it's like, if that room was out of time and space, how did no one know? I don't know. I'm just very confused about how the subway station deli situation with 5 relates back to what happened in season 3 with the old man 5 in that room. That doesn't seem to fit. My brain really hurts, so I'm just gonna stop talking about this right now, because yeah. The soundtrack was a letdown. It was a letdown. Here's a Tumblr post. Listen, there's a lot of problems with this season, but the fact that the only songs I can remember were in it were Santa Baby and Baby Shark shows a real decline, in my opinion. The needle drops used to be a big part of the show, and I barely remember any of the songs. Yep. I was like, wow, this is not a vibe. Like, the music was so good, and now there's just Baby Shark. Come on, guys. I mean, it was funny. Don't get me wrong, but whatever. It all just felt so dull. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like the cinematography wasn't good, and it's not like the set design wasn't good. I've tried to figure out why it felt dull, but I genuinely cannot figure out why it felt dull. I don't know why. I need to look into that more. But for some reason, this season visually felt dull. For the love of everything, use practical effects or get some better CGI, people, because what was any of that? Ben and Jennifer at the end, I couldn't take that seriously at all because they looked so stupid. And the vomiting, come on. Ben did not have to look like that. Okay, unanswered and unaddressed things. Grace, like, please tell me more about her. Why did he decide to make a robot version of her instead of Abigail? There's so many questions that I have, especially because of the second season where we met her when she was a person, that I'm like, I just don't, did they ever get back? Did she leave him for good? Was she originally gonna leave him? Why did he make the robot of her? So many questions. Also, where was Pogo? Where was Pogo? And why did no one talk about him or wonder where he was at? Okay, guys. Just nothing else about the resetting of the universe? Like, just nothing else about that? Okay. Were they technically born in this timeline, or was it like last season where they just appeared there? Because if they were born in this timeline, do they eventually remember, like, what happened previously in this timeline? Does that make sense? Because the reality is different, but they have all the memories of their past, timelines and everything that they've been to. So, or did they just, like, come here, like, all of a sudden be like, oh, and then have, like, amnesia or something? Or did they just appear and have to go find, Lila had to find her family, but then how do they know that they're family, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't understand that. Okay, so only some of their powers were different, because, I mean, Luther's powers were the same, but also, why was he an ape? The powers don't make him an ape. He doesn't get the monkey body from the powers. That was something separate, so why was that there? Why were some of their powers different? Like, Lila still had her main power, but then also had the eye laser thing? I just don't understand it. Could they have not just gone to their original timeline, gone back in time, be nice to Victor, so that Victor doesn't blow up the moon? What was season 1 Reginald's plan? Because he killed himself, right? To bring everyone together, to stop the end of the world. But then, the act of him bringing everyone together is what ended the world. So what was his original plan, and why did he seem to know that something was coming? And yeah, I just don't understand what was his original plan. And then in season 3, he had this whole plan for the Sparrows to go through this, to reset the universe, I guess. He was training them all to reset the universe to save, or to, like, make Abigail come back to life. And then why was she on the moon? Like, if she was dead, why was she on the moon? And then it's like, oh, well, in the season 1, was he trying to get them all together to also reset the universe? But no, because nobody literally knew anything about that. Pogo was like, oh yeah, I've told you guys everything. And, I mean, who knows if he actually told them everything or not. But it's like, if Reginald wanted them to do that, there was no indication. Is there not a timeline where they just never get their powers back, so they never have the marigold in them, so that Jennifer can just combine with the marigold and it doesn't consume them? Because all the other rest of the 43 kids got to just go do whatever, so I don't know. Oh, and Ben! We saw all these sneak peeks and, promotions of everything of Ben on this subway. What happened to that? No, seriously. What? Did y'all just decide you were just gonna change everything? Y'all started writing and filming and then was like, actually, and then just changed everything? Because that kind of seems like what was happening there. Because, I mean, that seems like a whole, not like a simple thing that's just, oh, we just, it's a deleted scene. No, that seems like it's a pretty big thing, And he looked so dapper, like he looked so put together, professional. Not like how he was this season. So I don't understand what that was about. Aliens! We're gonna talk about the aliens now. Why did they never show their true form on their home planet? Because we get flashbacks to Abigail and Reginald on their home planet, and they don't look like aliens. Why is that? And why would they bring both of the particles that ended their world to a new place? Either leave them both there or only take one. It's not that difficult. Like, they knew it caused the world to end. and then they brought both of them. Why? Where did the other aliens go? Are they on Earth too? Because you saw the ships leaving. So what happened to them? Okay, so Abigail was sick. Did she die? Or is she, like, in a coma? Because why was she on the moon? Why? Why was she on the moon? For what purpose? Because it seems like his plan was to reset the universe so that she would be back. But then why did he keep her body? Was it her dead body? Or was she in a coma? I don't understand. Okay, so closing thoughts. We're going to start off with a Tumblr post. I know this is, like, insensitive, and they don't mean this in a serious way. I doubt they mean this in a serious way. I enjoy dark humor. Dark humor when it's obvious that they're not, like, being serious. I'm sorry, guys. I thought this was really funny. From all the consequences that 9/11 had in this world, the ending of the Umbrella Academy was by far the worst possible. Like, of course it's not, because it's a show. I don't want people to get all mad about this, because, like, it was very obvious that this is they're being sarcastic, but, like, also they're being dramatic. You know, I don't know. I don't know how other people feel about making jokes about tragic situations, but, like, that's my coping mechanism, is when something bad happens in my life, I just make jokes about it, because that's... I didn't think that this season was funny like the other seasons. It was just sad. I mean, they had some good lines and stuff, but the vibes were not the same. It all felt super rushed and lazy. And it's like, you could just tell. I just got that feeling from the very beginning. It was like, oh, yeah, this is not ending well. And then as it got closer to the end, I was like, nope, this is not ending well. This is gonna end really badly. And I'm all for, like, the tragedy and everything like that. But, so I do think that the ending could have worked, where they all didn't exist. I think that could have worked. But there were so many other things y'all could have done. And also, you just didn't do it right. I love those endings, where, you know, it's like, oh, actually, this was a dream, or this was, you know, whatever. As long as it's done right. It has to be done right. I loved Leave the World Behind, where they literally just stopped at the end. I thought that was cool. I liked Bodies, 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 where, I don't want to spoil it, but the end of that, I liked that. I thought that was fun. But this, they did not do right. Okay, guys? It could have been good, but it wasn't. And also, because of the nature of this series, having that ending just was so depressing. Such a feeling of hopelessness that it just leaves you with. And just not fun. It feels like everything that they have worked towards through the whole seasons was for nothing. It didn't matter. None of it mattered, because they shouldn't have existed in the first place. And them being, like, super traumatized and abused their whole life, just for that to be the outcome it's so depressing. It's so depressing, and I don't know why they did that. Reading a Tumblr post, the tragedy of the Umbrella Academy is that we were given characters that were beautiful and broken, and we loved them as our own because they were worthy of love, and it ended by erasing them out of existence and essentially saying, the abuse you suffered makes you the problem, the world would be better off without you ever having existed. And it was fine that some things weren't answered. Not everything has to be answered or addressed, but some things were certainly important enough to be at least addressed, if not answered. Goodness gracious. I mean, I felt like I ended with more questions than I had. It's like when they spend seasons building up these, you know, storylines and everything, and these questions and these mysteries, just to have a stupid explanation that just doesn't really fit, or not even talk about or address them in any way. It just felt sloppy. It was sloppy, lazy, rushed writing. It's that simple. Yeah, it just all feels cheap. It felt so cheap, so fake, so pointless. It was not a fun experience. This is going to be like a 40-minute long video, because goodness gracious, I just had so much to yap about because I was that passionate about hating it. I'm not usually a hater. I don't like to hate. But I can confidently say that I am a hater on this season. I am a hater because what the actual fuck. Anyways.